Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Insurance Journal's Academy of Insurance's weekly webinar Aftershow. I'm your host, George, and joining me for the Aftershow today is the Director of the Academy of Insurance, Mr. Patrick Rate. And today's class was Rating AI Tools, Balancing Functionality and Security. And our instructor is Mr. Tom Wetzel, and was Mr. Tom Wetzel, and will be for the remainder of the time we have the class online. Tom, great to have you here. How's it going? What's happening over there in Chicago?
Well, it's hot today, and that's normal for this time of year. And I just got back from uh, a workshop of 300 agents talking about AI and cybersecurity. And it's always a pleasure to actually, get in front of agents and talk to them face to face, which I'm going to do again next week. I'll be in Orlando for the Florida Association convention. And looking forward to that. That's always a great event. And
Great.
then I go to Texas the week after.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, fantastic, Tom. Um, Tom, it's the last time you gave this presentation, there seemed to be a lot of changes then. And since the last time you gave it, there seemed to have been even more changes. How far has the AI needle moved since the last time you gave this presentation? And are you surprised by how much it's moved, or is it just par for the course?
It's par for the course. Actually, this particular course is brand new. One of the
Oh, I
things,
beg your pardon.
one of the things that the most frequently asked questions I get in my in-person workshops is, okay, you convinced me that I ought to take a look at AI, or they're already thinking about it, but they're overwhelmed by it, and they're saying, which tools should I be using? And I've had agents tell me, they have ChatGPT on their desktop and they keep it open all day and they ask it a question, and that's how they're using it. And so it was incumbent on me to address those questions in a serious way. And so this course is a result of that, in emphasizing, use AI, but use it strategically. Don't experiment with it. Just play with it as if it's another toy or a bright shiny object. You can reap enormous benefits from using it, but you need to do it with a plan in mind, what you're going to solve using it, and then be in a position to evaluate, is it doing what I hoped it will, and do it securely.
Tom, me believing that you had given this course before, and actually you saying this is a brand new course, may be a byproduct of my next question, and also a good segue into my next question, which is there was a slide you had where you talked about large language models. And one of the things to be aware of in the large language model use purview was there's a danger of hallucinations. It kind of sounded to me like a pharmaceutical ad warning, like if you use AI, you don't use AI if you're allergic to AI. Symptoms may include high blood pressure, hallucinations, or trend analysis. With mixing up the symptoms. I don't know. I tried. So why did I just hallucinate that you had this class before? And what is what might prompt somebody to have a hallucination based on the language model?
Well, you're not wrong, because that particular slide is an old slide. It's about the only one in the presentation where I talk about how a large language models are being used and how they can
Aha.
be used. So
Okay.
kudos to you for that. But the question is, how does it hallucinate? And the large language model that's trained on the internet, it'll just go out to the internet and extract the answer that it thinks you're asking for based on the question, based on the words and the sequence of words that you've put into your prompt. And if it can't find something specific based on those parameters, it'll just make something up. The most well-documented case was the case of an attorney who was going into court for a deposition, and wanted to have some research done, didn't have time, asked colleagues can you give me some case law on this particular issue? And the colleague said, sure, be happy to. Never had used ChatGPT before, decided to do it. asked the questions, asked for case law. It came back with case law, so he thought, and gave it back to the other colleague who argued it in court. And both the defense counsel and the judge said, "We couldn't find these cases. Where'd you get them?" Well, it turned out it asked for specific case law on a specific topic, couldn't find it, so it just said, "Okay, I'll just make something up. Sounds good." And that's true, especially in the insurance industry. I mean, like in the legal industry, you can't be sort of accurate. You need to be completely accurate. And as I pointed out in the presentation, the hallucination, the error rate or the accuracy rate in large language models is anywhere from 3 to 27%. So the watchword is trust but verify. Use it as a tool, but more to the point, which I allude to in the other parts of the presentation, is that ChatGPT is a general purpose, large language model. It's sort of one size fits all. Well, in agency tasks, that doesn't work really well. Maybe it'll work at half the time, but if you're going to spend money using a tool to solve a particular problem, it makes good sense to say it's going to really solve it, not halfway, but really solve it 100% of the time or 99% of the time. That's why you need to be thinking strategically about which tools to use and what you're going to use them to solve.
I'll give you this one, Tom. When it comes to GBT, TBV, trust but verify.
Yep, there you go.
Come on, Patrick. Half a gem? Speaking of which, Patrick Raitt, welcome to the Aftershow. It's great to have you here. Patrick, what did you think of today's class in particular, but also the topic in general as it relates to insurance and just life?
Yeah, this is a very timely topic because you're 100% right, Tom. It's not a matter of will people use it. It's how much and in what manner will they use these things. And there are all kinds of different tools. And one of the things that we're seeing right now is not only are we seeing you mentioned that case where the attorney was actually was given some consequences from the court for using chat GPT stuff, and not even the fact that they used stuff that came out of chat GPT, but when they were called out on it, they didn't go, yeah, I confess, we took the lazy way through this. But in fact, I think it was here in the last week or two, I saw it again. This is coming up repeatedly. And in the work that we do through the insurance space, you can't just put this stuff together using a large language model and hope it's right. There's so much that could be incorrect about it. And what we're seeing is this rise of using these models to create all kinds of different things, and one of the issues that we're seeing in that is that issue of hallucinations and difficulties, and the other side of it is that we're beginning to see intellectual property disputes and suits related to the training of these models as well. And so do you think that those kinds of disputes are going to hinder this development, or is just a blip on the radar?
I think it's more of the latter. I think people are now aware of the accuracy or lack thereof of these models and will get called out on it. But the proverbial horse has left the barn. Everybody's going to use them. And I don't think it's going to slow down the use. I think it's going to, ultimately be a good thing because people are taking it seriously. They understand it. there's a corollary because I talk to agents about cybersecurity and they all say I'm aware of it, but it's not going to happen to me. I'm too small, and but now I think the consequences are starting to come home to roost in that area space, and they'll discover the same in AI, and that'll manifest itself in, of course, the model laws that NAIC is working on as we speak, and the carriers that are taking a close look on how AI is being used, and if they see some problems that how agents are using it, you can bet that they'll bring it up.
Hmm. Well, and you mentioned the security piece. For an agent to say, "Well, we're too small to mess with or to be impacted by that," I would push back and say, "How many scam phone calls, texts, emails have you personally received that were at this point probably 80 to 90% of those AI generated and just
Exactly.
shot out automatically looking for somebody to respond in some way?"
Yeah, they use the criminals use a shotgun approach. They just spread it, and
Hmm.
whoever clicks on it, hooray! And that's how agents. Nobody is immune to this. And a point that I make in my another presentation is I ask the question: how many of agents in the room were affected by the CrowdStrike outage last year? Vertiport went down as a result. Now that wasn't a cyber attack. That was just
No, that was an error.
that was a coding error. But the point is made. We're all in this digital ecosystem together. We're joined, whether we like it or not. And the weaknesses of one can spill over to the weaknesses of others. And we all have to realize that and do our part to, you know, use AI responsibly, make sure our cyber defenses are up to current standards, which are nowhere near what they were a year ago or 2 years ago. Um, it's a tough
Yeah.
challenge, but it's
Yeah.
doable if you take it seriously.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's like the other day when I received that text message from the state of Florida saying that my license would be revoked if I didn't pay my unpaid tolls. I was very concerned that I might, lose my license, except I've been driving without one for 5 years. That's not true at all, but it
Yeah,
made Tom laugh. So
An Insurance Journal Academy of Insurance after show exclusive.
there you
Patrick has been
go.
driving licenseless for
And
lo these
he
many
and he's
years.
laughing too.
Tom, thanks again for your time and your help today. Do you want to plug your company? Can you tell us a little more about what you do when you're not instructing us and things like that?
Well, it's Thomas H. Wetzel Associates, and I'm on the have a huge website. Um, I've been working with agents for years on digital marketing, but my areas of concentration now, almost exclusively at this point, are artificial intelligence and cyber security. And we can offer services that others don't because we're focused so laser like on the agency system, which I'm a big supporter of. And, I work with agents all the time and they're my bread and butter. But they feel like family to me. And so I take their well-being very seriously, and that's why my services are tailored to their particular needs and their environment.
Excellent. Well, thanks. And the website again? Sorry, one more time.
It's www.wetzelandassociates.com, and that's
All right.
and A-N-D. And then my email is twetzel at wetzelandassoc.com. We had an issue, and I had to drop the associate part of it a couple of years ago, but it is what it is.
Another after show exclusive.
There
Tom
you
had an
go.
issue with association, and Patrick's been the congenial felon that he is over here with driving without a license.
it's a misdemeanor. I mean, what? How
Assoc
bad could
sounds
it
like
be?
the way the kids say it downtown, like per usual, or yeah, Thomas. I'm gonna walk by Thomas Wetzel and Assoc, and the Oh, I know
Right.
where that is. Yeah, right. Oh, the kids all talk like that too, like the Bowery Boys. That's it. Leo Gorson. Tom, thanks for your time today. Thanks for your help today. Patrick, thanks for being so candid about your flouting the laws of Florida and the land. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we need to get done here soon because I think I hear sirens coming.
On behalf of
Ah,
Patrick Great and Tom Wetzel, this is your host, George. I know nothing. And have a great day, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. Take good care.
thank you.
Very Schultzy of you.